Welcome to the Get Right with God podcast with Jamar Grimsley, where we're all a work in progress. Nobody has their life all the way together. We're all trying to get right with God.
Listen, to God, the experience is more important than the pain. Let me say that again. I said, to God, the experience is more important than the pain. So what am I talking about, you guys? I'm talking about those painful things that we go through. I'm talking about those unpleasant things that we experience. I'm talking about those trials. I'm talking about the tribulations. I'm talking about the rough and the tough times. I'm talking about the things that we have to suffer sometimes, child of God. The pain of those experiences are not as important to God as the experience, right? So God is concerned more with you getting the experience from that unpleasant thing than the pain of how you feel about it. Are you hearing me? Right? Because many times we don't want to go through things because things are painful, right? But if God leaves it up to us to decide what we're going to go through, we're going to say, no, Lord, I'm not going to go through that. It's going to be too painful. I can't go through that experience because it's going to be too painful. So God has to put you through certain things, child of God, to get purpose from your life, right? And he's not so concerned about your pain level of the situation, because God knows that he's going to bring you out of that thing, child of God. And he knows that he's going to get the glory for that thing. But what has to happen is you have to go through that thing. You have to experience that thing. You have to be able to minister to somebody about a hard situation, about a rough situation, about a trial that they don't see their way out of, because God allowed you to have the experience, and because he was not so concerned with the pain that you had to experience. Now you got a testimony to share with somebody else. But without the experience, you would not have the testimony to tell someone else about the goodness of the Lord and what he can do in their life, just like he did it in yours, because of the experience, right? So what is an experience, you guys, right? An experience is a fact or a state of having been affected, right? Or gained knowledge through direct observation or participation. So it's actually the effect of something that you go through, right? So either the thing that you go through, you can learn it through observation, which means I'm going to see that somebody else went through this and I'm not going to do that because I don't want to go through that. Or it could be a result of participation. But what it is, it's the effect. How did this thing affect you? What did you learn from this thing? So if it's going to be gained through having been affected by it, right? That means it's going to be gained through participation. I mean, you have to go through this in order to get to where it is that God needs you to be, child of God. So it is the experience that grows us. It is the experiences that we learn wisdom. It is the experience that we begin to know God on a deeper level, right? It's through the experiences. Can you imagine if God never allowed us to go through any experiences, right? How would our lives be? It's kind of like God got to allow somebody to go through the experience so that the testimony can come out of their life. Are you hearing me? It's kind of like, how would we know that God is a healer if he never allows anybody to ever be sick? How would we know that God is a waymaker if he never allows anybody to be in any situations where they do not see a way out of? And how will we know that God will deliver you if he never allows anybody to be bound? So the experience to God is more important than the pain, because you guys, if God left it up to us, again, we would say, I can't go through that. If God showed us what it is that we had to go through, the experiences that we had to have in order to get to purpose, we'll say, oh God, no, I can't take that. You can have your calling right back. I can't handle that. I can't handle that. So God has to put you through the pain, which is less important than the experience, child of God. When God puts you through something, He's going to bring you out of that thing. He's going to bring you out, but you have to go through it. It's kind of like, how would you know what witchcraft feels like if you never experienced the witchcraft, right? How would you know what sickness is if you've never experienced it? You see what I'm saying? How would you know what voodoo is if you've never been under an influence or a spirit of voodoo or attacked by voodoo? I'm just giving examples of things that we have to experience, because with the experiences, it gives us knowledge. So that if another situation similar to this happens, I'm already prepared and I know how to handle it because of the experience. How would you know what the Jezebel spirit is if you've not encountered it? You see what I'm saying? How would you know what a demon is if you have not seen a demon work through a person, or either seen a demon work through us? Some people see demons physically, right? But how would you know what it is if you never experienced warfare? You see what I'm saying? So the Bible says that weeping may endure for a night, right? But it is joy that comes in the morning. So in order to experience the joy that comes in the morning, how would you know how it feels if you have not experienced the weeping at night? Now, I don't know who I just now talked to, right? So the painful experience, you guys, once you go through that thing and you come out, you're going to be so much stronger in the Lord. You're going to be so much wiser, just knowing how to deal with situations in life, period. Because a lot of times we'll be in situations where, oh, I just can't handle this. I can't deal with them. And we'll run off and we'll run away from the problem. But a lot of times what God will do, God will take you and put you in the midst of that very thing that you tried your best to avoid, because he knows that experience, you need that experience, and he's not so concerned with the pain and how you feel about what it is that you have to go through. That thing that he puts you in the midst of, that he allows you to go through, that thing right there, that is what God needs to put you through in order for you to get to where it is that he needs you to be. Are you hearing what I'm saying, right? So that thing that you tried your best to stay out of, God puts you in it. So being that you always able to run away from situations when you can't handle things, God will make you in a way, he'll make it in a way where you would have to deal with that. You won't be able to get away from this one. Has God ever done that to somebody in their life? You know? Those things mature us, you guys. Those things help us to grow in life. Those things help us to grow in wisdom. Those things help us to grow in God. It's the painful situations that we experience, right? That we gain those things, you guys. We gain those things through the experience. Let me share something with you guys, right? I think this was like 2 years ago, right? 2 years I went to Nigeria, right? To preach a 4-night revival, right? So the first day, powerful. People healed and delivered and they was taught, and a lot of people came to God, right? So the second day, same thing, powerful, powerful, powerful. But the third day, when I finished the second day, I went the third day and it was powerful again. The third day was powerful again. But after I got in back to my hotel room from the third day, it's like my stomach felt so bad, you guys. Like my stomach felt like it was dropping out of my bed. I don't know. Like my stomach just felt so bad. It felt so horrible. And the thing was so painful. So I'm in my hotel room and I'm like, man, what is this? I don't understand this. Why do I feel like this? I'm like, God, help me out of this, God. What is this thing? Why do I feel like this? So I went and sat on the toilet for like 2-3 hours thinking maybe I got to use the bathroom. And it wasn't nothing helping. I was bent over like this, y'all. I was bent over like that, like bad, you know? And so I go back in the room, I come out the bathroom and I'm on the floor crying, like tears. I'm crying tears because like this is painful, you guys. I don't even know what this is. And all I'm saying is, Father, deliver me, bring me out of this, God. Help your son, Lord. Help your son, help your son, help. Like that's how I was crying to the Lord. Like, God, help me, help me. I don't know what this is. You know, so somebody gave me some medicine. This was pain pills. It relieved me for like 20 minutes. The pain came back just as strong. So I tell my friend, I say, I need you to pray for me. And he sleep. He done went to sleep. I'm like, yo, wake up, man. I need you to pray for me. And he sleep, right? So I'm like, okay. So I'm crying again, like, Lord, heal your son. Heal your son. Please heal your son. Father, you sent me over here for a purpose, Lord. I need you to heal me. And I'm getting upset at God, like, you got the power to do this, God. Why are you not answering me? Why are you allowing me to suffer like this? Why are you allowing me to struggle like this? Why are you allowing me to go through this, God? Right? Now, I need a word from God. Right now, I need to come out of this situation because it felt like I was going to die, you guys. I'm telling you, like I was just curled over. Like, what is this? I could barely I don't know. I couldn't lay down. I was on the floor, just curled up. Father, help me. Help me, Lord. Help me. Help me. Lord, bring me out of this, God. Heal your son. Like I was doing that, y'all, all night. I was crying like, God, why would you allow me? This is my attitude while I'm going through a hard thing, right? Lord, what kind of God are you? You supposed to love me. You sent me over here to do your work and I'm doing your work, God, and you allowing this to happen to me. God, you can't heal me. You can't bring me out of this. Quiet. Are you hearing me? Quiet. The Lord, quiet. Quiet now, quiet. Has anybody ever experienced a situation where you needed God the most and he was quiet, right? So it's a miracle the way this happened, you guys. So I wake up that next day. Everything is good. I'm looking for the pain. Like, what? Where's the pain? Like, where? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really looking for this thing. Like, what is going on? And why was I feeling like this? And what? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I was, like, because it was so amazing that it was gone, because that night before, it was so bad, y'all. It was horrible. I wouldn't wish that kind of pain on anybody. Like, that was bad, y'all. That was bad now. I ain't never experienced the painful situation like that. But it was more important that I experience it than my level of pain. And that is why God got quiet. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? There was something that God was trying to teach me through the experience, right? God was not concerned so much about the pain that I had to go through. I was in pain for real. I was in pain, y'all. I ain't never felt nothing like that ever in my life. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody, right? So that next day again, I feel okay. I'm like, whoa, where's this pain go? You know, I'm looking for it like, whoa, how did it, you know, like, I'm like, wow, thank you, Lord. I'm happy now because this pain is gone from me, right? So later on, it began to get time to go to the revival, right? And so I didn't really know, how this thing, what got it up off me. But the Lord was revealing to me that it was a spirit of witchcraft, right? Somebody sent a spirit of witchcraft, right? And so I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And do you know what the experience taught me, you guys? Do you know what the experience that I just told you about, that I had to go through? Do you know what that taught me? It taught me not to be going over to other countries thinking that things are sweet and people are just going to welcome you and people are just going to allow you to come into their atmosphere, their territory where these witches are. And you think they're going to just let you bring people to Christ and let you preach to them and let you teach them and let you deliver them and let you get them healed and all of that stuff. No. And I wasn't really praying while I was over there. So there was another lesson that I learned from the experience, right? I'm eating and I'm in a pool and, just hanging out with my friend. And, like I wasn't really doing spiritual things like that. But even though I wasn't doing spiritual things like that, God still showed up at those meetings, right? So because of that experience, you guys, what did I learn? I learned that I got to stay in prayer. Stop playing around. This is his purpose. I can't play around with the assignment that is on my life, right? I got to pray. I got to stay in deep prayer. I got to have others praying for me. This is not a personal thing that God is putting me through, but this is ministry. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? So now, because I went through that next night, right? What I had to do, I I had a testimony. I had something to share with somebody because of my experience. Are you hearing that? If God would have never allowed me to experience that witchcraft attack, how would I be able to minister anything to anybody without the experience? So God was more concerned with the experience than my level of pain, though it seemed so unfair. It seemed so unfair. God was quiet when I needed him the most. But the experience, you guys, is more important to God than the pain. See, there's only a matter of time that you're going to have to go through what you're going through. There is a date when God is going to bring you through. There is a date of your deliverance. There's a date when God is going to set you free from whatever that thing is, child of God, but you have to experience it. Right? You got to go through the experience, right? So that you can, if you never go through any experiences ever, how would you have anything to minister to anybody about ever? You won't. So God got to give you the experience, even so that his power can be made manifest in our lives, you guys. Somebody got to have the experience. God got to bring somebody out of the experience. So again, God is, He doesn't want us to, it probably hurts him that we have to go through these painful situations, but he knows what he has to do in our lives as a good father, because the experience to God is more important than your level of pain. Who is the Spirit of God preaching to on this video today, right? So I don't know what you're going through, child of God, right? And I don't know how long you've been going through it. It don't matter who you're going through it with. It doesn't matter what it is. You know what I'm saying? The thing is not bigger than God, right? And that thing has an expiration date. There's something that God is trying to show us through these terrible experiences that we go through. There's something that God is trying to teach us through those experiences, you guys. And so when we don't learn the lesson after we have the experience, this is what's going to keep giving God. He's going to keep giving you the experience. And it's going, let me see, because the definition experience, right? It's something that is gained through knowledge of a direct participation, meaning you have to go through this thing, or a direct observation, meaning I'm going to learn from what you went through. I'm not going to do that because I see what happened to you. I seen it through your experience. Even somebody else's experience, it gives you hope. Are y'all hearing me? Right? So you guys, the experience is so important. The experience is so important. You have to just know that whatever you're going through, child of God, that God is with you while you're going through it. You have to know that there is an expiration date for that thing, right? That thing is not going to always last. That thing has an expiration date. I don't care what it is, child of God. It's not going to always last. It's going to expire, right? But because of that experience, you guys, I was able to even minister to the people about what I went through the night before because of the experience. So I had to share my testimony with them about me coming over there and thinking things was sweet. Are you hearing me? Right? But let me tell you that next night I had intercessors right there while I was preaching. I ain't playing around no more. I'm not playing around no more. That witchcraft attack, y'all. Ooh, I don't know if anybody experienced anything like that, but my goodness. That was terrible. Now, do you not think God could have saved me from that? Do you not think God could have brought me out of that? Do you not think God had the power to heal my body? He did. But he had to allow me to go through that because the experience is more important to God than the pain. Again, God probably hurt because we got to go through these things, but he know what he has to. Yeah, somebody was calling. But yeah, you guys, do you not think that God could have brought me out of that? Do you not think that God could have healed my body? Do you not think that God could have delivered me? No, but he had to allow me to experience it. Though it was painful, the experience was more important than the pain. Now that's to God, but to me, the pain was more important than the experience. I've been like, God, I can't go through that. It's too painful. So God got to do it on his own, because if he left it up to us, you guys, be honest, like if he left up to us the painful things that we got to go through, you probably would see it and be like, No, God, I don't want to do that. I can't handle that. I can't go through that. You will feel like that. So God has to put you through himself, right? He got to put you through certain situations because he knows that those situations that he puts you through, child of God, that those situations are going to get you to where it is that God needs you to be, right? So again, like I said, whatever you're going through, child of God, that thing is not bigger than God, and that thing has an expiration date. And there is a purpose for the pain, right? God ain't just allowing us to go through things and to hurt and to suffer and to struggle for no reason. No, there's a purpose behind your pain. God is always producing something behind your pain. That thing that you go through is the very thing that you need so that when you get to purpose, you're already equipped. But you're equipped because of the experience. Rabo Shandia. Are y'all hearing me? It's the experience. To God, that is more important than the pain. I'm just saying. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? So whatever you go through, hold on to the fact that there is an expiration date for that thing, though it do not seem like it's going to ever end. I'm telling you. But it's because you're in it. This is the only reason we feel like certain situations that we're going through in life is never going to end. It's because we're in it, right? It's just because we're in it. And when we're in it, we don't see a way out, right? But there is a date of your freedom, child of God. There's a date when you're going to come out of that situation. It's just that you're in it right now. Again, the Bible says that weeping may endure for a night, but joy, if you can hold on to the joy that's coming in the morning. You in the weeping season right now. But again, the joy is coming in the morning. And you're going to look at that situation and be like, God, I thank you for allowing me to go through that, because if I had not went through that, I wouldn't know you like I know you. How many know it's nothing but painful situations that causes us to get on our knees and pray like never before, right? When God allows us to have an experience that's not pleasant, that makes us pray hard. And in that praying hard, that's where you pick up the gift of the prophetic and you begin to hear God. But it's because of the painful experience. It is because the experience that made you pray very hard because you wanted out of the experience, which to God is more important than the pain. It's because of the experience that you now know God on a deeper level, right? Can you say that if you've never been through anything that you would have a relationship with God like it is now? No, but it's through the painful experiences, you guys. It is through the painful experiences. It is because of the things that we go through. All right, you guys, it is because of the things that we go through. And you guys, whenever we have people that slandering our name, or whenever we have people that are building smear campaigns against you, whenever people are talking bad about you, whenever people are stealing from you, whenever people are treating you any old way and people treating you unfairly, those are experiences that you have to have, right? There's going to be people hating you, right? The Bible said that you're going to be hated without a cause, meaning there's no reason why you're treating me the way that you're treating me, right? So when you have enemies in your life, it's a good thing because it gives you an experience. Are you hearing me? Right? And if you had enemies in your life, if you didn't have enemies in your life, who would be there? Who would be there for God to prepare a table in the presence? Oh, y'all ain't going to talk to me right there. Who would be there? So enemies are necessary, right? So when you're going through, child of God, and people are treating you unfairly and things seem so unfair, and where is God and why are you allowing me to go through that? And you begin to question the love of God. You begin to question why God how can you love me and allow me to suffer and to go through like this? It's because you need the experience, child of God. Look at that thing I went through. If I knew that, do you think I would have accepted the call? No, that thing was, y'all, man, you can't play with prayer, you guys. Again, I'm able to minister this to y'all because of my experience. Are you hearing me? So do not despise when you have the experience. Think it not to be a strange thing when things in your life are painful, when things in your life begin to get rough, when things in your life begin to get tough, when things in your life seem unfair. Think that not to be a strange thing, but think that God is about to do something in your life so that he can get the glory. Oh, yes. Romans 8:28, one of my favorite scriptures, you guys. It says that all things work together, right? Together. Meaning the bad things that you go through and the good things that you go through, God got a way of using it all and putting it together, right? All things work together for the good, meaning for you, it's going to work because you went through the bad, because you went through the good. It's not going to just be bad. God going to take the bad and the good, and it's going to work according to his purpose, and it's going to be for your good. You see what I'm saying? All things work together for the good to them that love the Lord and to those that are called. It works according to, not according, but it works according to his purpose. And what is his purpose, right? His purpose is to get the glory from your story. But in order for God to get the glory from your story, he got to allow you to have the experiences. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Right? So let me say this, right? When God saves you from something, right? Let's say you're going through a hard time, a rough time right now, and you don't see your way out. And then God brings you out of that thing. You're going to look back at that thing and say, wow, I did not see my way out of that. And what's going to happen is you're going to give God glory because he brought you out of a situation that you did not see a way out of. And you're going to look back and say that had to be God, because there was no way that situation turned out the way that it turned out. It had to be God that stepped in and worked a miracle in my situation. But he could not have worked a miracle in your situation if you had not had the experience. Are y'all hearing the Spirit of God preach on this video today? If you hadn't had the experience, child of God, the experience is necessary. Sometimes it's an unpleasant thing, but it is necessary. And again, if it's any encouragement, just know that thing, it has an expiration date, right? It's not going to always last. You know, when my stomach was feeling like that, I felt like that was never going to end. You see what I'm saying? But there was a date when I would come out of that. There was a date of my healing, which just so happened to be that same day, you know, but because of the experience, I had something to minister to somebody about, because the experience, you guys, is more important to God than the pain, right? So without the experience, you guys, we just wouldn't ever grow. Like, we need the experience, you guys. We need the experience, right? And when the scripture says all things work together for God, all things work together for them that love the Lord and to those that are called according to his purpose. What is his purpose in your experience, right? His purpose is for you to go through, right? All things work together for the good. All things being in the bad and the good, it works together according to his purpose, right? So the bad things that you go through, right? And when God brings you out, right, of a situation that you did not see a way out of, what happens is now that thing, it works out for your good because you're no longer in it. And now you have wisdom and you have knowledge to tell somebody else about that same situation that you went through because of the experience. How does that work according to God's purpose? According to God's purpose, to those that are, it works according to God's purpose. So how does that work according to God's purpose, right? What happens is that painful thing that you go through, right? What happens is now God brings you out of that situation that you never saw your way out of. And you know it was God that did it because there's no logical explanation of how you got out of that, right? So now that God has brought you out, what's going to happen now is you're going to share that testimony. You're going to bring God's name the glory. Are you hearing me? You're going to bring God's name the glory. And then what happens is the devil gets shamed because that very thing that he thought would destroy your life, God set you free from that. So you get the experience, child of God, and it works out for your good. God's purpose is done in that thing. God's purpose is achieved through your experience, and the devil gets shamed because he lost the battle there, right? That thing that the devil tried his best to destroy your life with, he lost because of the experience. You hear what I'm saying? Right, you guys? So again, despise not, do not think it to be a strange thing. Just look at it as though God is about to do something in my life. So he's preparing me for something greater. But I got to be prepared for the greater through the experience. Are y'all hearing me? It's through the experience. All right, you guys, I pray that this message bless somebody. You guys remember again and know that it's the experience that God allows us to go through, you guys, that we gain wisdom, that we gain knowledge, that we grow in God, right? So no matter how painful it is to God now, this is not to us, but this is to God. To God, the experience is more important than the level of pain.